Welcome to the Christian Life Coach Collective. I'm your host and coach, Laura Malone, and I'm here to help you become the hero of your own story and learn to be a guide to others. Whether you're a life coach in any niche or you want to become one, or you're just listening in so you can self-coach to lead your own life well, this podcast is here to serve you. I'm super excited to walk with you into your calling and help you create a wonderful legacy for your life. So let's jump in to today's episode. Okay, let's talk about when you believe that you have to know something before you can learn it. You know what I'm talking about. When somebody's teaching you something and your pride rises up a little bit and you feel like you need to know about this, whatever subject, already. It's the old story about needing to be fit before you go to the gym. And all I can say is that God has dealt with this in my life and still has to deal with it in my life at times. And what he's showing me is it's simply pride. And the good news about that is that, well, like my friend Lelania told me once, pride is no big deal because God is just big enough to deal with it. So we don't have to be afraid of facing our pride or the other side of the coin called false humility. We simply need to take it to the Lord and let him deal with it. And the truth is that we are wise after receiving instruction. Proverbs 9 verse 9 says, "Give instruction to a wise man and he will be wiser. Teach a righteous man and he's going to increase in learning." Proverbs 13 verse 18 says, "Poverty and disgrace come to him who ignores instruction. But whoever heeds correction or constructive criticism is honored." And last but not least, Proverbs 12 verse 1 says, "Whoever loves discipline loves knowledge, but he who hates correction is stupid." Ouch. Well, all of this, I'm going to just say, tells me that I need to be willing to learn. And I am a self-led learner. I am a lifelong learner. I love to learn, but I do like to learn about the things that I want to learn when I want to learn them. So I can get a little itchy about somebody else thinking that I need to know something that I haven't said, hey, I want to learn that. And I just have to watch it with, if my pride or resistance or anything else rises up and makes me feel like I need to be competent and knowledgeable before I ever actually learned about that thing that would actually make me truly competent in that area, I just have to step back and give it to the Lord. So when does this happen for you? What are the things that occur in your life and circumstances that cause your pride to jump up and make you feel like you need to know it before somebody can teach it to you? And you might be struggling with this for different reasons than what I struggled with it around. And I really think that being aware of it, first of all, is the key. So take note of the times when you're in a situation that requires you to be teachable or coachable, and assess what's going on in your head and your heart. What is your soul doing? Is it resisting? And do you need to act like you already know the answer because of who's doing the talking? Did they make you feel dumb? What's behind the belief that you need to already know this and can't simply let yourself be taught? What is behind the belief that you can't feel incompetent if you're caught unknowing? What's behind the belief that you need to protect yourself from being vulnerable or accepting or simply needing help? And I think that when you're a teacher or a parent or a guide or a coach to anybody in any way, you just have to believe that you're right because you're teaching other people. You're responsible for what you tell them. You need to believe that you're actually giving them the right information, right? That you know your stuff, because why else would you be teaching it? But it's important to be someone who's teachable and flexible and humble enough that regardless of what you know and what you believe is right, you can say to someone else, hey, what you shared with me is valuable and I thank you for it. It's that simple. Everyone is unteachable and uncoachable at some point and in some way. And if you're coaching and guiding people, you're bound to come across somebody who wants to already know what you're going to say before you say it. Or somebody who tries to finish your sentence with a flare of, "Thank you, Captain Obvious, but I already know that." And when you come across these people, and maybe it's not a client, maybe it's a child, maybe it's a husband, maybe you actually have a really good friend that does this a lot, let yourself be patient and slow to anger. Simply allow God to do the work in them, and remember that you yourself are not always teachable either. And when you run into these people, you can simply say something like, "Oh my gosh, I'm sure you already know a good measure about this, but I would love to share my version of how I think this could play out, or my experience in it as I walk you through this. Or maybe it sounds like you already know something about this, but would you mind if I go ahead and walk us through it though? Maybe I'll be able to add some value to the knowledge you already collected." You don't have to point out that they're being unteachable or uncoachable. You can validate that they know something and also ask permission to share what you carry. And that's okay. And last but not least, the goal that we are working towards here is to follow the Lord's instruction, to be mindful of the correction and direction that others give us that might actually be Him giving us correction and direction. Rather than being prideful or boastful or resistant, let's live from the place of humility that yes, indeed, other people might actually know more than us in one area or another. And that is simply okay. We don't have to know it all before we know it all. We actually have to go through the process of learning and being taught. And it's a blessing to us to be taught. It's a blessing to others to be teachers. And in the same way that you yourself want to teach and guide and coach people, let yourself be teachable, guidable, and coachable. I believe that it's within you. I know you're made to do it. So for those times when you feel like it's a little bit of a struggle, I wanted to give you this message to help encourage you that you can just change your mind and say, it's okay that I don't know that yet. It's okay that you do. And I'm so glad you're in front of me and you can help me know it. All right. Until next time, friends, I hope that you remember all things are possible and have a great week. Hey, thanks for listening. And I would love it if you could leave me a review wherever you listen to this podcast and tell me what you're loving about it. It helps other people who are looking for transformation and change and growth in their lives find me. And if you want to learn about becoming a coach with any of your superpowers, head over to sterlingandstonementoring.com and check out the Greenhouse course. See you there.